few quality bite-sized games in between big releases such as the Nintendo 3DS, Shovel Knight is a breath of fresh air. A console brand exclusive, Shovel Knight is a retro 2D platformer which draws inspiration from games like DuckTales, Mega Man, and Ninja Gaiden, and other NES games, melding them all together into something new and fresh, and something the 3DS really needed. Shovel Knight's 8-bit NES-inspired visuals are quite aesthetically pleasing. It fully embraces games of that era by limiting its color palette to match what the NES was capable of, but it runs at a solid 60 frames per second to match the fluidity of what we would expect out of most platformers today. In this game, you play as Shovel Knight, who is on a quest to save his beloved friend Shield Knight, who has been missing prior to the start of the game. In order to do this, Shovel Knight must go on a quest to defeat the Order of No Quarter, which is a band of knights who have all fallen from grace in some way. Shovel Knight's primary weapon is his spade, which he uses to slash and pogo off enemies as well as dig up treasure in some circumstances. As you can tell by the fact that your primary weapon is a shovel, the game does not take itself too seriously. Shovel Knight's serious demeanor while killing hordes of enemies with his shovel further adds to the satirical nature of the game. Shovel Knight has excellent level design because of its tight controls and how it uses the environment and enemies to create precarious situations for players. Enemies, bosses aside, don't pose significant challenges for players on their own, but stages are often set up in a way to create difficult confines or platforming challenges which play to the abilities of the enemies, forcing you to overcome both the environment and the foe in almost every area. This makes Shovel Knight quite challenging and quite rewarding to play. The music is definitely a standout feature of the game. It really stands with the best of the original soundtracks of the 8-bit era, and each theme fits the tone of the level perfectly. I guess my only gripe with the game is that it doesn't have much replay value. It took me roughly 6 hours to finish the game, but there just wasn't much to do after that. The game does feature a New Game Plus option, which makes it significantly tougher, but it doesn't really change enough to warrant a second playthrough, at least in my opinion. Still, this is definitely the best $15 you can spend on the 3DS today.